Hello everybody and welcome to the Sovereign Village Project. I did a video some time ago entitled "They're Building the Smart Cities for You," or something similar. You can dig back in the channel and find it. And I want to do a little bit of an update because it's pretty fascinating here in Nashville what's happening. That building right there is brand new. Happened in the last couple of years, last 2 or 3 years. So is that one. So is that one. So is that one. So is that one. That one just popped up. It's a skyscraper. This one and this one are currently under construction. I used to park there. That one's brand new. They just finished construction. And they're finishing construction on this one as well. Every single one of these buildings is either high density housing or it's hotels. And I find the hotel part very fascinating because while this city is experiencing growth and a lot of tourism, there's no way that I can even fathom that the amount of massive hotel projects they're doing will ever be filled. There was already pretty adequate or almost adequate housing for guests who come through the city. It was behind and there's certainly been a growth, but tourism isn't really the main area of growth here in Nashville. It's people moving in, particularly in the last year. You know, obviously the tourist type industries such as music have been completely shut down under the tyrannical lockdowns. And so it leads me to believe, and this is entirely speculative, but it does lead me to believe that the intention here is to eventually switch the zoning and the purpose of those buildings, that the cronies of the politicians and the tyrants that run the city are building these with no intention of using them as hotel rooms. What they're going to be is hotel-sized housing, pod housing. It's real. The sustainable development agenda is real, and they throw that language around in this city. And I want to encourage everybody to become, if you're inquisitive at all about this stuff, become an independent researcher and use very careful review of facts and logic and start peeling back the layers on these things. See who the power players are. See who the developers are. See who the construction companies are. See the larger conglomerations and corporations that own them. Look for which politicians they're sponsoring and look for which politicians are using language like sustainable development and the other jargon of this Agenda 21, 2030 fascist tyranny. Look for those people, peel back the layers, and start speaking this truth. Be very factual and very careful because there's a lot of misinformation designed to discredit anybody that's talking about this stuff. But if you're a type who's a researcher, we all have roles to play in this war that we have to fight against the NWO ideology, because you can pretend that the New World Order is like a conspiracy theory that's not true all day long, but it's a real stated ideology. Real American presidents have used those words, and their actions reflect the ideology of totalitarian control. And so it's time to peel back those layers so it's no longer got that veneer and that psyops word behind it of conspiracy theory. We need to peel back what sustainable development is, which is the exact opposite of sustainable. It's destructive hellscape development is what it is, designed to cram humans into an unnatural existence, removed from nature. This is the amount of nature they want you to experience, if that. They probably want to get rid of that too. Look at all that green. They got to remove all of that. Replace it with this stuff. This is your future, not this. They want you removed from nature. They want you cut off because when you're removed from nature, you'll be insane. It's not sane to be removed from nature, and when they remove you from your access to animals and plants and the things in the environment that humans are supposed to be in, you'll become insane, you'll become dependent, you will become malleable and willing to do whatever they want you to do. It's already happening. I see it in the city. There's no resistance. These people are being taxed out of their gourd. They jacked up the taxes by, I believe it was 34 or 35% in the middle of the worst part of the pandemic during the lockdowns, bankrupting businesses, and the city is operating at a surplus. They have too much money, and they're still robbing people blind and collapsing all of the businesses here, and nobody does a thing. Nobody shows up to protests. Nobody speaks out. They are so docile and domesticated now because they live in this. They live in a place humans aren't supposed to live in. They've got garbage food shoved down their throat. They've got garbage chemicals in their water and garbage entertainment and garbage media and everything. Just, to me, this is what hell is starting to look like more than any kind of lake of fire. And it's getting worse and worse. So I encourage you to peel back the layers. Let's find that man behind the curtain here, and in your city or the city near you, or even in your small town, start peeling back the power structures. Learn who the players are. Learn the churches, Masonic lodges, secret societies, hospitals, healthcare organizations, pseudo-governmental organizations. That's a big one. Look for organizations that bill themselves as government organizations but are not. There's lots of those at every level, federal and local. Look at the nonprofits, look at the corporations, look at the individuals who are making big moves. There's a lot of people who have ill intentions, and they really are working together because they're not bound by any conspiracy. What they're bound by is ideology. The ideology of totalitarian control. They believe that that's the answer to humanity's woes. They're so narcissistic and evil, they believe that they can fix humanity because they're better than the rest of us cattle. This is a little bit of an extreme video today, but I'm in that mood, and I think it needs to be said. And I just want to encourage really good, factual, careful research on everybody's part, especially if you're the type, I think we all have a role to play here in this war, and if you're the type that really likes to research stuff, dig in and be very careful with your facts, be very truthful, and then find a way to spread that truth, like I'm doing here on this channel. We need to become our own media source. We need to decentralize the sharing of information because we can no longer trust or even really use any kind of media for anything except viewing propaganda. I still consume mainstream media because it's helpful to know what the propaganda line is. It's helpful to know what the masses are going to do because they're very predictable because you just watch what the media tells them to do. All right, well, I've gone on long enough, everybody. I'm going to get some work done here in the city and then get back to nature where I belong. Everybody stay safe, be well, and happy homesteading.